Something was deeply wrong at Riverside Restaurant Group. Braxley Hawthorne knew it the moment he stepped inside. Corporate profits were soaring while employee satisfaction ratings plummeted. The 34-year-old CEO had built his restaurant empire on treating workers fairly, but recent anonymous letters painted a different picture. Complaints about unpaid overtime, missing wages, and managers who threatened job security had been flooding his personal inbox for weeks. Tonight, dressed in a simple navy suit instead of his usual executive attire, Braxley walked through the bustling kitchen of his flagship Chicago location. He had told the regional manager he was a potential investor, wanting to observe operations firsthand. That was when he saw her. Maple Winslow moved between the dishwashing station and prep area with practiced efficiency, her blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun. At 27, she carried herself with the quiet determination of someone who had learned to endure. What struck Braxley immediately was the exhaustion in her movements, and the way other staff members avoided eye contact when she passed. He watched as she completed her regular 8-hour dishwashing shift, then saw her tie a different apron around her waist and begin cleaning tables in the dining room. When the restaurant closed at 11, most staff headed home. Maple stayed. Braxley lingered in the parking lot, pretending to make phone calls while observing through the windows. She was still inside at midnight, mopping floors. At 1 in the morning, she was wiping down kitchen equipment. The next evening, Braxley returned. Same pattern. Maple worked her official dishwashing shift, then continued for hours without clocking additional time. When he casually asked another employee about her, the response chilled him. Maple? She is working double shifts to keep her little brother in treatment. Manager said if she complains about overtime pay, they will find someone who appreciates the opportunity. Braxley felt his stomach drop. This was not just wage theft, it was exploitation of desperation. On the third night, he approached Maple during her break. She was sitting alone in the parking lot, eating a peanut butter sandwich. Mind if I sit? He asked gently. Maple looked up, surprised. You are the investor guy, right? Sure. They sat in comfortable silence before Braxley spoke. Long hours here. Maple laughed, but there was no humor in it. You could say that. Do you have family? He asked. Her expression softened. My younger brother Tommy. He is 16, has leukemia. Been in treatment for 2 years now. Our parents died in a car accident when he was 12, so it is just us. Braxley felt his heart tighten. That must be incredibly difficult. The medical bills never stop coming, Maple continued, staring at her hands. Insurance covers some, but not everything. Not the experimental treatment that might actually save him. I need every dollar I can get. And they do not pay you for the extra hours? Maple stiffened, suddenly cautious. Why are you asking? Because what I am seeing does not seem right. She studied his face for a long moment. Look, mister, I appreciate the concern, but I cannot afford to lose this job. Tommy needs me. The next morning, Braxley called an emergency meeting with his management team. The regional manager, David Prescott, sat across from him with confident posture. Everything running smoothly at the Chicago location? Braxley asked. Absolutely, sir. Profits up 15% this quarter. And employee satisfaction? Some minor complaints, nothing significant. Braxley leaned forward. Define minor. David shifted uncomfortably. You know how it is. Some people always want more money. I want detailed payroll records for every employee. Today. That afternoon, the truth emerged in black and white. Maple had been working an average of 70 hours per week for 6 months, but only receiving payment for 40. 3 other employees showed similar patterns. Braxley felt rage building in his chest, but he channeled it into determination. He had one more conversation to have. He found Maple that evening, once again working her unpaid second shift. Maple, can we talk? She looked exhausted. If this is about what I told you yesterday, please just forget it. My name is Braxley Hawthorne, he said quietly. I own this restaurant. Maple froze, her face draining of color. I am not here to fire you, he continued quickly. I am here because someone has been stealing from you, and I intend to make it right. Over the next hour, Braxley explained everything. The anonymous letters, his undercover investigation, and what he had discovered about the systematic wage theft happening under his company name. You will receive back pay for every unpaid hour with interest, he told her. David Prescott will be terminated tomorrow. More importantly, I want to help with Tommy's treatment. Maple began crying, not from sadness but from overwhelming relief. Why? She whispered. You could have just fired David quietly and moved on. Braxley thought about his own younger sister, who had battled cancer at Tommy's age and won. He remembered the financial strain on his family, the sleepless nights, the desperate hope. Because taking care of each other is what makes us human, he said simply. 6 months later, Tommy's experimental treatment was showing remarkable progress. Maple had been promoted to assistant manager, and Braxley had implemented company-wide policies ensuring fair wages and anonymous reporting systems. Sometimes the most powerful changes begin with simply seeing what others choose to ignore. The letters on Braxley's desk now told different stories. Stories of gratitude, of second chances, of a company that remembered its heart.